the SEC tournament in basketball. And, Texas A&M beat Florida today. There's a storyline there with Mike White. Will they move on if they don't make the tournament this year? It seems like Florida is very much on the outside of the bubble. They need some help if they're going to get in. LSU is beating up on Missouri right now. But last night, and you got Mississippi State later today. They start in, hour and a half? I think it's an hour and a half.
That's correct, 5 o'clock.
Against South Carolina, because why not? Let's play them again. Last night, honestly, the result of the game doesn't really matter that much. I don't think it does. It doesn't matter. Ole Miss lost to Missouri for the third time this year, a Missouri team that was 5-13 in the conference. Two of their five conference wins are against Ole Miss, and they added a third in the tournament. And I could go through the box score and stuff. There's no point. It doesn't matter. You don't care. The thing is now is what's next? What now? And we don't need to rehash what we said yesterday because the same principle applies. They just lost their conference tournament game. They're now done for the season. You had Kermit Davis, really kind of lobby on his own behalf in the press conference after the game. I can't tell you the number of people that have asked me, are they going to fire him? Are they moving on? Or some variation of, they should fire him, they should move on. It's mostly not questions, if we're being honest. It's just, fire him. And then yes. I guess they want me to, I don't know. I agree. It doesn't matter. I've given my thoughts on that, and so have you over the last few weeks, honestly. At this point, it doesn't really matter. What I do think needs to happen soon from Ole Miss is they need to address it. And I don't mean from a little graphic that the graphic designer did with the logo and stuff and nice font and with a 5-sentence statement of, we believe in Kermit Davis. That's not what I'm talking about. I think they need to address it, which, regardless of what decision is made, in detail. Because the first thing that needs to happen, obviously, is Keith Carter needs to decide whether or not he's moving forward with Kermit Davis as his basketball coach. Maybe that decision's already been made. I don't know. But if you're going to get people back, if you're going to get people to buy into your basketball program, there needs to be very specific detail for why moving forward as is the best decision. Even if it's not satisfactory answers, you need to give them. It has to be, in my opinion, if you want to get people back, because they don't believe anymore. Clearly, the attendance numbers show it. Despite what they reported, the butts in seats show that the people are out. The results were awful. This is one of the worst seasons they've had in recent history. By win percentage in conference play, the worst in my life. So, if you're going to move forward with Kermit Davis, you have to come out and be very specific and detailed for why you made the decision and why moving forward it will be different. Offensive philosophy, recruiting philosophy, transfer portal, assistant coaches, everything. Because if you just release a statement, we believe in Coach Davis and he's our guy moving forward, nobody's going to buy what you're selling. You have got to be detailed and explain why it will be different. Why, after going 6-12, 10-8, 4-14 in the league in the last 3 years, 2022/2023 is actually going to be different. If you want people to buy the decision that you make. And if you don't care about that, then whatever. But if you want people to buy in.
You and I both know nothing like that's happening.
It needs to, or else you're going to see an empty pavilion.
No coach has ever sat down and for the medium and like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to make these change. No, that's never. Coaches coach the way they coach. And something I say a lot on my podcast is a lot of coaches would rather lose their way than win somebody else's. Mike Leach is one of those coaches. He would rather throw it on 4th and short than just line up in the power I and get a first down sometimes. And I don't know Kermit Davis that well, but, that's just a lot of coaches have that stubbornness, that ego, if you will. So that's where we are with Ole Miss and, with Mississippi State. In all honesty, today might be the last day. State tips off in an hour and a half, and that could be at that. If they lose, I would expect an announcement, maybe before the weekend, certainly by Monday, that they're moving on from Ben Howland. So, we'll start talking hot boards, and we'll start talking some names to watch, and I'll learn a lot more about mid-major basketball than I knew 2 weeks ago. And it's weird. It's weird that, you think back when the year Kermit was hired and both State and Ole Miss went to the tournament, and you thought, okay, Ole Miss has got a coach in place that can get them to a good place. Mississippi State, 4 years of Howland. Now he's got them in the tournament. They're about to take off a little bit. And the opposite happened. Both programs have just regressed horribly since then. So, yeah, basketball in the state is in a really tough spot. I do think with the right coaches, you can get excitement for basketball in the state, but it's not going to be an immediate thing for sure. It's going to be a process to get there.
But at least they have that. I mean, at least once the decision is finally made. Somebody asked me the other day, why haven't they moved on yet? Because they don't have to. Wait till he's coached his last game. You don't have to put the stink on this team right now. Let them play their final game before you make an announcement or whatever.
Well, never mind that. The coaches you want to hire aren't available yet. They're going to be coaching for another week or two probably. So
at that point, it doesn't matter. But at least for State, regardless of who it is, you have something to sell to your people. You have something to sell. It's new. It's exciting. They run this system. They develop these players. If it's Bob Ritchie, exceptional defense.
If it's Mike McMahon, he found Ja Morant.
Yeah. So you have something to sell.
Yeah.
Ole Miss needs to figure out if it wants to sell something to their fans. Because if not, if they're just kind of let this fly and, he'll be back next year and here's a 5-sentence statement, then nobody's going to buy. And maybe that doesn't matter to them. Maybe they don't care. But nobody bought this season. You have to tell them why they should next year, or else they won't.